Hi, I want to talk about modern state of mind of American population today. What I want to say is that I listened to Russian historian Klim Zhukov, and he described how our Russian village population in middle of the 19th century act. During that period, socialists or people who believed that soon will be revolution, and people who tired of Tsar regime will do the revolution because obvious reasons. Yet, when those people, socialists, I don't know how they called other words, well, socialist educators came to village. They trying to educate the village population, and the village population of middle of the 19th century was literally slaves or just freed slaves. It depends on which year, because we abolished the slavery in our sense of the words slavery in 1860. So when you came to the village, you're trying to educate people, you're trying to talk to them about Russian literature, Russian language, you're trying to get them to write, teach them to write, to read, and basic mathematics. They welcome it. They say that okay, it's good. I'm welcome it. I want to listen. I want to learn. But as soon as you get to the point where Bible is wrong, socialism, not socialism, sorry, Bible is wrong, but the current state of mind right now is that the Tsar is bad, for example, or the earth is not flat, that earth is round in circles around the sun and not vice versa, the stuff like this. When you're trying to give them this knowledge, they don't want to listen. They don't want to listen, and they don't want to listen, like literally don't want to listen. It's not that like they listen, that they don't hear. They simply don't want to listen. They close their ears. They sing in blah blah blah. Sorry. And the current state of mind of American citizens, as I see it right now, as I have big, how it called, big experience in conversation, in having talks with American citizens right now, and it doesn't matter which side you are on, whether you're liberal or conservative. Absolutely have no differences, like whatever. It's like 90% of the people, when you're trying to bring up the different point of view from theirs, they simply don't want to listen. They don't want to listen like those village population from the middle of 19th century in Russia, which was uneducated, can't read, can't write, can't, I don't know, basic mathematics, can't, etc. So you must understand that, sorry, what I want to say is that when you're trying to disagree or bring up another point of view, American population act like, ha ha ha, you're an idiot, you're a moron, I don't want to listen to you, here, catch the ban, goodbye. And they act, it's not like that stupid people, right? Educated, can't write, can't read, can write, can read, can basic mathematics, have basic logics. But when you're trying to simply disagree with them and say that here there is arguments, there is simple arguments like this and like that, they not like to They not they don't even want to have a conversation about it. They simply don't want to hear it. And when you're trying to literally say that, guys, there is no God, and you act like mujik in Russia, in dirty mujik in village in Russia of the middle of the 19th century. This mentality is very common to American people in general. You're so obliterated to some propaganda, some ideology that you believe in, that you cannot accept, not even accept. You don't willing to listen any other points of view. You don't want to hear it. You prefer to ban people. You prefer to curse on people, BMing people, etc. So in general, it's the mentality of modern American population. No matter what I believe, and fuck you. It's not like they trying to argue or to disprove. No, and it doesn't matter which side you on. Whether you're pro-government or against government, pro-gun, against gun, I don't know, whether you're pro-Muslims, against Muslims, who cares, really? It absolutely it does not matter. People just ain't willing to listen, like, at all. They absolutely sure that I know better. Shut up and agree with me. Whether it's conservative, whether it's liberal. Yet, conservative people more likely to argue. I admit it every time. Conservative people more likely to argue with you. Yet, to trying to explain like this with socialism. One part of the American population think that socialism is so awesome, it will save us, there will be free education, there will be free healthcare, and everybody will be living so good. Guys, socialism in general, it's simply a system of economical relationships, and therefore the basic social connections between people. It's not like it's not an ideology. Socialism, it's not an ideology, and it's not a universal cure for everything. You also have to work. You also don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to be a cringe feminist or LGBTQ, etc. Asshole, etc. So you say. And from other side, right? Socialism, red man bad, and fuck you all, and shut up. You goddamn commie. You're, I don't know, you're fucking socialist. You won't murder 60 million people like Stalin. Like, you know, I'm face palming every time when someone bring up murder, Stalin, or genocide, or Holodomor, and stuff like this. I'm simply just face palming every time. Like, it was disputed even by American historians who absolutely 100% agree, and yet until now we don't have exact numbers how many people Russia lost during the period of World War II, because not all documents still open in open, not all people was registered accordingly, etc. It was a mess, of course. It was already good, more systematic mess, but it still was a mess. And until now we have only some kind of numbers how many people we lost. Yet people on the other side who dislike socialism, the argument is one: red man bad, and that's it. When orange man bad, it's supposedly have to be funny, it's supposedly show how people stupid and how people unwilling to take arguments. But when I say that red man bad, they trying to diss on me, ban me, etc, etc, etc. Like, come on, there should be valuable arguments against it. And this is current state of mind of American population in general. They are unwilling to argue, and they unwilling to listen. Like, I don't know, they act exactly like Russian village people from the middle of 19th century, uneducated, can't read, can't write, know nothing but the Bible and what the priest said them, and the Tsar is our God, Tsar sent from the God, and we believe in that. And pretty much the same mentality right now in America. Either it will be the Bernie Sanders will save us, he sent from the God, or what. Hillary Clinton is our goddess, she is so cool and she is so progressive and she will save us. Like, what? And from the other side, Trump came to save us. God bless America, God bless Trump, he came to save us. It doesn't matter what you're thinking, fuck you all if you disagree with Trump actions. You sound like absolutely uneducated people who believe in one idea and can't change their mind. And you sound, once again, like uneducated people. Klim Zhukov talk about our government house. He was the main guy over the church from the Tsar. I don't even know how to call it. So Победоносцев, the name of the guy. So Klim Zhukov talked about Победоносцев and how he said that we have to keep the people in the state. We have to keep people in the state. We don't have to give them education. We have to, because there is technological progress. There is I don't know. We need to, at least these people must read to cope with the modern state of economy, the modern state of technologies, etc. But we can't allow this because people have to be uneducated. What if they write books? What if they read I don't know, write thoughts? And look at us now, 170 years later, in America, with this people with the same mentality. Yet they read books, they have internet, they can watch videos, they can read sites, they can ask questions, for that matter. If you don't know something, ask questions. No, why should I? After all, I'm American. I know we're all better than you. As one person tried to teach me on my country, because one family told him a disastrous story. One family that he knows from Russia, and in opposite, it's like I'm trying to give him examples of one family. It means that five people, like 2 grown-ups, 2 adults, and teenagers or something along those lines, kids. one family of 5, and against it my family of, at least as far as I know, at least 20 of closest relatives, plus the people who lived in the same period that that family lived in Russia. The people who my parents work with, who, for example, my granddad and grandmom, who of course lived through, they was born in beginning of 20th century, therefore they lived through this, and they know what was going on. And to say that he don't understand a thing, that family told him only their point of view on this, it's like, come on, it's like reality. And they run away from Russia, of course, just as opportunity arrives. They have nothing to, they have no one to run to in America, but hey, Americans, we live here bad, no food, it's so miserable, and of course our government is very treat us bad, take us to America, let us live so good. Come on, it's not even funny. Well, that is, sorry, I'm go a little bit different way. So the point is, the people don't want to listen. They believe in propaganda, and it's a government propaganda from the 50s, when after USA was allied with USSR, trying to beat Japan and Germany, etc., etc. But as soon as they realize what is USSR, what USSR represents, it's like workers' rights, human rights, equality, and very progressive by that time state of mind, that people get to vote, get to decide policies, and etc. And when the war was over, when, come on, we helped. What else you want from us? Those goddamn commies now want to take over the world. Let's get rid of every commie in our country. It's propaganda from the 1950s. Like 170 or so years later, let's say 200 years later, nothing changed from the Russian village man who lived in horrible conditions, as was literally slaves, and difference between educated population that ended schools, colleges, have university degree, like nothing changed. No matter what conditions people live in, what propaganda tell them. Of course, the religion and the church for that moment in Russia was like a government propaganda. Come on, guys, you have to work for these guys, because these guys work for the Tsar, and Tsar given for us from the God. Of course, come on, it's all logical. And now the same mentality I see in supposedly free American people. How can it be? You know? I know, it's propaganda machine working. They make you believe the things that they want you to believe, and go the path they want you to go. And in the same time, from every movie, from every TV program, from every internet site, everyone screaming at you, yelling at you, we are free, our freedom, we're so free, personal liberties, come on, we have to protect our freedom, our country. And yet you follow the path that propaganda is giving to you. Like, hello, guys. It's not that I'm pro or against government propaganda or socialism or communism, Nazism, fascism, etc. I don't differentiate between those. It's the same stuff. Pretty much there is only one little correction that I have to make. Capitalism, communism, socialism, feudalism, it's economical systems that people live in. When religion, ideologies like, for example, democracy, for example, I don't know, liberalism, democratic ideology in general, Leninism, Maoism, I don't know, does Castro have his own ideology or not, yet this is an ideology. Yes, Leninism and Stalinism, it's an ideologies. Not pointed on control people, pointed on how to explain people how to live in changing conditions when you're transferring from capitalism to socialism. After all, people, come on, I just 20 minutes trying to explain how dumb you are to believe in propaganda and at the same time believing that you are free and acting like people, uneducated people from the middle of 18th century, 19th century. And in the same time, it was very important in USSR to give every man education, at least if you have no abilities, at least the basic education, so you understand how the world works, how to write, how to read, how to spell right, I don't know, the basic mathematics, of course, the basic understanding of astronomy, of physics, chemistry, biology, etc. It was very important exactly by the reason that people have to make decisions. In communism, which I don't believe in at all, people have to make decisions, not like the government officials, not government ministers or something along those lines, not the president. People have to make decisions in working collectives, in the village that they live in or the place that they live in I don't know, in some collective that they want to be part of, let's say party, some political party, some political movement. It was very important to give people an education so they make right, correct choices. And yet even this system, a good educational system, failed in the end. And it's said that in America right now people like said red man bad and free education. Come on, who needs this free education? What are you talking about, free education? We have to pay for it, of course. And when the rich guys, the rich kids have education, you don't. Come on, people. And that's the point. You can't give people an education. At least you can't give them a good one. What if they realize what world they live in? What if they realize what conditions they live in? What if they realize that capitalism soon will end and the prosperous life that they have right now will end? What then? Will they revolve? Oh, they can. They can. If conditions will become worse, a little bit worse, they will revolt right now. And American population, not like Russian population during any period of the time we're talking about, American population is armed. Yes, they of course will not succeed, but what if we lost so many population. Taxes, control, power, money laundering, etc. Consumers, after all. Modern capitalism can't let it happen. So here it is. I simply want to point it out that you act like uneducated people from the middle of 19th century in Russian villages, that they was literally slaves or just freed slaves and on harsh conditions. It's not like in America. So do you really want to act that way? Do you really think it's a good way of thinking? Do you want to stay uneducated, unhealthy idiots, useful idiots for government, and believe in government propaganda 100%, and pretty much American population right now, it's like three parts. One part doesn't care, it's the most of population. One big chunk think red man bad, other part of population think orange man bad. Pretty much that's it. That's what differentiates people in America. Yet I don't think that American people is stupid. I think people general is stupid. Pretty much, yeah. And therefore you have to understand that your concept that we are here free, that personal liberties matters, that every life matters, it's totally ridiculous and bullshit if you look at this from this angle. Well, anyway, I guess you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening and see you later.